Welcome, everybody, to the first episode to Recipe for Adventure. I'm Freebie This is my friend Sai. Sai, say hello.
Hello.
And we're both a bunch of DMs helping you create the perfect adventure. So, I think I want to start with a few introductions. I think some people who watch my channel kind of know who I am already, but to give a quick brief overview, I'm Freebie. I love role-playing of all sorts. My DMing experience started 15, 16-ish years ago, on and off. I play in a lot of different systems, but I gravitate towards D&D. 5th edition is my current system, as it were. Sai, would you like to tell everybody about you?
Um, sure. So I've been a DM for about the same amount of time. I've been I got basically thrown onto the spot of the DM train one day when the DM's like, "Hi, so I know I started this campaign. Turns out schedule doesn't allow it. Does anyone want to try out?" And I leapt at the opportunity, and I've been DMing steadily since.
So we both have roughly the same amount of DMing experience, but I would argue you have more than me because I feel that I'm more of a player compared to you DM. Like I feel every time we interact, like I DM for you maybe once every 2 to 3 games you run for me, I feel.
It doesn't help that there are times where I am DMing like 2 or 3 campaigns a week.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you definitely 100%
Yeah, I'm
have more experience than me condensed, if for no other reason than you just by volume play more D&D than I do.
yeah.
And I'm a bit sad by that because I would love to play D&D more often.
Yeah, there's always the desire to both play and to be a dungeon master because both are fun,
Yeah, and like
and sometimes it's just hard to be just one. There's always like that desire to just be both.
when you're a player, you think, "Oh man, wouldn't it be cool if this sort of scenario was happening?" But then when you're in charge, you're thinking, "Man, if I was a player, I would do it this way." It's always grass is greener on the other side, at least in my head.
Yeah, that's basic psychology. And the truth is, both being a DM and being a player is fun. So getting to do both is the ideal.
I think, I think, uh, I think that leads down to a dangerous path. Like DMPCs, if done right, are fantastic, but there is a reason why they're so
Well, yeah,
vilified.
yeah. Well, that's why it's better to be a DM in one campaign and then a player in another.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, there is one thing, like before we continue, there is one thing I just want to make sure all our viewers know is that even if you are a game master, even if you are a dungeon master, or whatever you want to call it, you yourself are playing a game as well. Like you, your fun is also important. Perhaps not at the expense of anyone else, but your fun should matter as well. And I think a lot
Of
of like
course.
DMs and other players forget that sometimes.
Yeah, being a dungeon master is not a job. It is a hobby, just like playing is.
Absolutely. And if you're not having fun with your friends, then number one, is it really a hobby anymore? And number two, are they really your friends if you're not having fun with them? It just annoys me when I read like those DM like horror stories and stuff like that.
Ah, yep, the good old horror stories.
Ugh. Anyways, we are here to make a campaign, hence why it's called the Recipe for Adventure. Uh, so, for the sake of these, we're just going to use D&D 5e, just because number one, it's at the moment the most popular, like widespread tabletop RPG in existence, as far as I'm aware.
It's
Most
really
people,
easy to explain to people.
yep. Even if you don't have never played it, at the very least, you've heard of it. If you're in that TTRPG like sphere at all. Um, so D&D kind of lends itself to a um, fantasy-esque system. You could try to adapt it for like anything else, cyberpunk, noir, or whatever. But for the most part, it's usually supposed to be for like fantasy dungeon crawler with roleplay and all that stuff. Basically, generic D&D. Would you agree with that statement, Si?
Yeah, I would say one of the strengths of fifth edition Dungeons and Dragons is how simple it is, which allows it to be flexible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, for all those people who have never played D&D and look at it and think this is considered simple, trust us when we say any more simple, and it either be a one-page RPG or fourth edition. No, that's unfair of me to say, really. Um,
Fourth edition can be pretty complicated in places.
yeah, no, yeah, that was very unfair of me to say.
Yeah,
I do, to be clear, I do like fourth edition for its own reasons. But anyways, fifth
yes.
edition. Um, like all things, once you get settled into it and try it out, it does become easier because you, as a new player, you don't have to know all the rules. You just have to tell tell the DM what you want to do, and they just have to know the rules and sort of decide how it works. But anyways, adventure, brainstorming. What kind of adventure are we thinking of making to begin with?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? Because it's like here we are, we're starting, and the best place to start with is literally the fact that we don't even have a plan for this just yet. It's just let's do it, and so we should start thinking about a theme. And like we've called this like a recipe for adventure, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So could it be interesting to maybe lean into that?
Like you're talking about like a chef style campaign, like your
Ma-
adventurers looking for recipes.
Look, I don't know about looking for recipes, but I like the idea of like you don't necessarily have to be chefs, but the idea of
Guide
collecting rare ingredients for
or a
this like
chef. Ah,
for a chef or for some sort of ultimate recipe.
like
Whether it's a recipe for like a pie or if it's a recipe for like an elixir of resurrection or something crazy. But the idea of a recipe that has like a bunch of rare ingredients, each one could be, in a way, its own little mini adventure.
adventure is based around gathering ingredients for the ultimate recipe. Okay, yeah, this I like that. This is very, very classic fantasy. Not even fantasy, just story esque plot, like Dragon
Well,
Ball Z. Gather all
yeah,
the
well,
Dragon Balls.
yeah, I was thinking Dragon Ball, where it's like, yes, the recipe is just 7 balls with a different number of stars on each of them, but like one of the classic things about that old Dragon Ball story was that each like adventure, while small, could be its own fun little different thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can break up the stuff between each adventure as well for its own little bit.
Yeah, no, this and it helps make it more digestible and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I get that. All right.
and like something like this is great because it allows us to kind of dictate how long of an adventure it could be by how many potential ingredients are necessary.
Like you mean like the campaign is.
Yeah, like if we want something like nice and short, like say we want an adventure that runs for once a week for like 3 months, so like 12 adventures, well, 12 sessions. It's like, okay, maybe we could say 4 ingredients,
Mm-mm.
expecting about 3 sessions each.
Yeah, I've always loved the idea of gathering the MacGuffin type adventure, if only because, like, hang on, Steam pop-ups are happening. Exit Steam. So, oops, I accidentally opened up my Movavi video editor, which isn't so bad. Gonna have to edit that Steam thing out so my friend doesn't get mobbed by random people. Um, Okay, yep. So, anyways, I do love the idea of the ingredients thing because depending on what the ingredient is, and I'm saying ingredients, it doesn't necessarily have to be for something edible. It could be
Yeah,
something like well, Dragon Ball's once again. The thing I love about Dragon Ball, from like a adventuring narrative standpoint, is that if you get the Dragon Ball or the ingredient, there's nothing saying that the bad guys or another party can't steal them right back later, and that could turn into its own little venture.
Yeah, it's like because you can create like a reoccurring villain who's trying to stop you, whether they're trying to stop you from getting it in the first place or whether they want it themselves. And so it opens up a lot of like nice flexibility to play with a lot of different themes. And I mean, it's a great first theme for this little series because it's like recipe for adventure, right? Let's do an adventure for a recipe.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very versatile, like you said, very flexible slash flexible. Okay, so let's go back to what you said before. An elixir of resurrection, or maybe even immortality, because
yeah,
we're basic that way, but it's okay to be basic sometimes. So
yeah, because you would either like it either has to be something like crazy, like an ultimate dish for like a king or an emperor, or some sort of like magical potion that does something that just is ridiculous or crazy.
Yeah.
Or it could be to create like a magical item.
I think elixir of immortality is
that is that classic one where a villain wanting it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I mean everybody wants it. Like the good guy.
Yeah.
Like even like whoever's sponsoring the players could want it because they want to give it to their dying daughter or something like that, or maybe they just want it for themselves and they be a misguided bad guy in the future.
Yeah, that's the cool thing with something like this.
I mean, there's nothing stopping the players from wanting it for themselves, and they backstab everyone else to get it at the last minute.
I mean, there could even be a thing where it's like the elixir of immortality. If you drink all of it by yourself, you're immortal. If you drink just a portion of it, you just add like a bunch of years to your life.
Oh,
and that way you could have the party be like, sure, we can actually split this because we will all technically benefit.
What's the word? Longevity. I'm in the Google Docs brainstorming file right now.
I'm looking at you type away at the moment.
Oh yeah. Oh, why your little? Oh, there you go. Your icon, the anonymous squirrel. Can be diluted to increase longevity. Yeah. Okay. So, So that's the ultimate goal, to gain the elixir of immortality. For the sake of ease, we'll just say there are. How many adventure / ingredients do we want to put in this thing?
Well, I mean, this is our first showing of this, right?
Yeah.
I think what I suggested, and there being 4, is not a bad start. That gives us 4 little mini adventures and maybe a 5th finale type scenario that we can play with.
So ingredients / adventures. I think the number 1 is going to be very obvious. The first ingredient is a phoenix.
The phoenix feather is like the classic staple of coming back to life.
Yeah, so that's the ingredient, and the adventure could be tracking one down and getting the feather off it. That one's reasonably straightforward, I think.
Whether it's finding a phoenix and obtaining its feather itself, or a heist because someone else has one on display or something. There's each of these ingredients can have so many different ways of obtaining it.
I feel like if we really wanted to, we could turn this entire campaign into Heist the game.
Yes, that's the thing. That's why this recipe adventure is so flexible.
Mm-mm.
Because most campaigns are collect the one MacGuffin, right?
The campaign is literally called Recipe for Adventure. Okay.
Yeah, we should lean into it for the first one, right?
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I love this.
Yeah.
Literally.
We can start doing crazier and crazier ideas later, but for now, we have a theme kind of already decided for us. we should lean into it and have some fun.
Okay. Okay. So what would the so that's the first ingredient. It was really obvious. What should the
Yep.
second ingredient be, you
How
think?
about how about a 4-leaf clover
Four leaf clover
or a 5-leaf clover to be crazier?
or five leaf
Where it's like
clover.
a 4-leaf clover brings luck. Does a
Yeah.
5-leaf clover even exist?
Oh, I like that. I like
And
that.
it's like if it's an ingredient, is it an ingredient because the person who made the recipe is like hypothetically this is what is needed? Would we have to create a 5-leaf clover because such a thing does not naturally exist?
I'm a bit worried about that because now you're doing uh,
Yeah.
goals within goal. Well, I mean, we were
Well,
already doing that, but like,
yes, we're already doing girls Goals, but like I just mean it. It's like that's such a mythical. Like the 4-leaf clover is like already like wow, you find it, you're lucky.
it's unknown sort of now.
But it's like a 5-leaf clover. It's like
That's
that is
unheard
like
of.
yeah. It's like does that even exist?
So
I
that could
guess it
be
does. It's part of the recipe.
so
But
that
where would we go to find it?
that could be like an investigation sort of thing. You'd have to like
Yeah,
figure out who has it. Like you could hear rumors and whatnot.
like that. This one definitely feels like an adventure where you would end up going to like the elves or the druids to
Yeah,
like delve into the secrets of nature itself.
and that would be hilarious if it just happened to like belong to I don't know a halfling with the lucky feet.
Yeah, just some really lucky halfling who just he just like grows a bunch of them in his garden.
Yeah, just a bunch of them. Oh my god! I was about to say it's just this random halfling is so lucky because I think
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, halfling is like pretty sure they're the only race that allows you to re-roll something. No, wait,
well,
no. Half orcs can re-roll damage. I'm pretty sure now that I think about it.
yeah, there's like some stuff, but the fact that halflings in D&D Fifth Edition get to reroll ones,
I'm pretty sure they're like legitimately. I'm pretty sure the actual trait itself is literally called. Yeah, no, it's literally just
yeah,
called lucky.
halfling luck, I think, or something like that. But
No,
yeah,
it's literally just called halfling trait, and it's called lucky. That's it.
oh,
There's nothing else to it.
boom, easy, nice and simple.
You,
But yeah, it's like that like natural luck that the halflings have.
and then you have give them the lucky feat, and if you really want to be a big bummer to your DM, you could have them be a what is it?
Wizard,
Yeah, a divine. No, not divine. Divination wizard. That's what it's called.
yep,
Oh,
divination
oh
wizard.
wait, actually no. The DM would be controlling this guy, so they could just make him literally lucky.
I remember someone referred to that build as like a Mr. Magoo or a Mr. Bean build,
I love it. All right,
where the character just solves everything through pure luck, not skill.
in divination wizard. I really want to play that archetype one day.
I've always wanted to try that once or twice. Like,
It's so good. Like I remember in 3.5 there was an entire tree of feats dedicated to being lucky. Like
yeah,
you could expend your luck. Like it got to the point where once you hit max level, you could literally treat your natural ones as natural 20s and stuff like that. Certain cases.
yeah, tons of like crazy fun stuff. And I mean, fifth edition still has plenty of fun things you can do too. So
Oh yeah, yeah, but it's never gonna reach the same level of brokenness as 3.5, which is fortunate on one hand, but unfortunate in other ways.
I mean, some people long for those just like so much options. It's crazy.
Look, to all my viewers who are telling me about it, yes, I understand 3.5 was broken, and in some cases, because of that, overpowered and unplayable, but that's what I love sometimes. I want to play the character who can one-shot stuff. It's stupid, and I know it.
Yep.
But yes, 5th edition, for all intents and purposes, is definitely the more practical system. I understand. Anyway, so we got the phoenix feather, the 5-leaf clover. Um, I feel a lot of these can be solved with diplomacy and investigation. The
Yeah.
Phoenix can definitely turn into a combat, but I want something that's explicitly a combat. What would that be for number 3?
I mean, dragon blood.
Oh, that was easy. Yeah, okay, Dragon Blood.
I mean, we're doing Dungeons and Dragons. We should throw a
Wait,
dragon in there somehow.
wait. Fresh dragon blood.
Yeah. And like that's the thing, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be fight the dragon. It could be
You could deal with the dragon.
dragon, and the dragon gets you to do something for it, which could be a fight,
Mm-mm.
and in turn, the dragon will donate a small stipend of its blood. Because like everyone immediately at first thought is like, oh, there's a dragon. Dragons are naturally like antagonistic. They can be, but
We're turning this into a potential diplomatic situation.
yeah.
I wanted to be very explicit. You can't do this without fighting something. So what about dragon heart?
Fresh dragon heart.
It doesn't even to be fresh because I don't think.
Dragon hearts are so they're so filled with magic. I could believe it if you told me that a dragon heart stays fresh for like a year.
Okay, fresh dragon heart. Yeah.
Well, actually,
Oh.
like dragons could be considered really powerful, and we haven't quite decided the flexibility of this. But one alternative I really like that's a bit more like lower level potentially,
Oh.
and really fits the theme of like health is like a troll heart. Because trolls' entire gimmick is that they can just come back to life if they are not burnt or melted down.
The regeneration and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like,
because like trolls can come back from basically anything.
I don't know.
But that doesn't feel like so special of an ingredient, though, right?
It as far as like ingredients go, it feels like one that makes sense.
But yeah, and like the dragon heart's going to be filled with magic.
Actually, now that I think about it, you just made me think scaling because the halfling could be the first one they go after when they're like level 1, but the phoenix feather and the dragon heart seems like
decently dangerous. Like now, to be fair, a fresh dragon heart could come from like a young dragon,
which I feel could have problems of its own if the parents find out.
I mean, yes. Some dragons, however, just say, "Oh, I had a kid. Cool. You're old enough to talk. Get out. Find your own horde."
Point taken. That's still like, relatively.
I imagine a red dragon would be very tempted to do that, or a black dragon.
Like, at what point does a like adolescent young dragons, like baby dragons, don't really venture off that quickly? I don't think.
No,
I think it's when they become like teenagers or young adults.
Yeah, young adult is definitely when a dragon will go searching for its own like lair.
That's what like a level 7 character party.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think from my general memories, we're looking at dragons that are going to be around like level 7. I think white.
They're the smaller, faster ones, if I remember.
White are big and bulky, but they're dumb.
Oh wait, what? Sure, I swear to God, white dragons were the faster ones, weren't they?
No.
I might be thinking of copper dragon. I think copper dragons are like the squirrels of the dragons.
Yeah, let's have a look. What kind of dragons are
we both pulling out our monster? Oh no, I don't have my monster manual here. Ah, dang it! I just have my.
So, in terms of like weaker dragons, yeah, white dragon, CR6.
Okay, they are the physically weaker ones who happen to be faster, right?
They are like. I wouldn't say faster. They seem like speed-wise fine. They're the ice dragons.
Oh, I know. That,
yeah. To be fair, brass is also the same level of rough strength.
Oh, okay, I must have been thinking of brass dragons when I remember either copper or brass. Must have been brass. They don't have a singular big horde. They have multiple little hordes. They hide in hills.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, whatever.
I think gathering a dragon's heart, for an adventure, it's probably better to go with a dragon that's more likely deemed to be, evil.
Yeah.
And if it's a white dragon, that gives like an adventure location as well, right?
We want this to be a reasonably black and white.
Yeah.
of
it's gathering ingredients. We don't want to go into complex politics and
the nature
morality.
of human soul.
Yeah,
Don't, we don't
yeah.
need to do that.
We don't need to delve into that just yet.
What do we want number 4 to be?
Okay, so we got so the 5-leaf clover could be a really easy like level 1, level 2 adventure. Fresh Dragon Heart probably like level 4, 5, maybe even 6. I so we got a feather from a phoenix, which is like a powerful elemental bird, represents life. The clover,
You don't
the
have to
dragon
kill.
heart.
You don't have to kill to get its feather. So I feel that could be the level 3 to 5, and then Fresh
Yeah,
Dragon Heart could be.
yeah. Well, I'm feeling. Part of me feels like some sort of like holy water, right?
Oh, like a holy. Okay, holy
Like
artifact.
bless, like it could be a holy artifact, or like it could just as simple be like the endless bowl of potato soup, or or like we could lean into some of the good old stereotypes, and it'd be like a goblet, and it's
Literally.
like it's not so much the ingredient itself; it is the goblet blesses what's inside of it,
So you
and so it's used to
as
make the
vessel,
potion.
like
Yeah,
literally the holy grail.
yeah. Like, could that not be a fun little thing? Like, it's like a little holy grail adventure.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Ocean. Okay, okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so beginning levels, get the 5-leaf clover, like investigate the village where like the are coming from, where the halfling, and he might go, oh, okay, you can just take one. Oh no, the village is under attack. Please help, otherwise they'll everything. Plays a thing, and then they get a lead on a phoenix feather and possibly do it peacefully, or even just steal it off the phoenix nest, and then they try to find a dragon, kill that. After a big epic battle, maybe go through a dungeon worth of kobolds, and then eventually he's like, oh, okay, final ingredient is Holy Grail. Get it, boys. And then their players go get the Holy Grail. They come back to the alchemist who's made the potion, but is now being held captive by, I don't know, a recurring enemy or something. That's my first knee-jerk reaction thought to that.
Yeah, they make the holy grail last. Yeah. No, I could see that. That could be cool. Each of these, I definitely could see each of these being basically 2 levels. Like, so the first one would be level 1 would be basically the call to adventure and try to find a lead. Yeah, level 1 to 8. Nice, simple, boom. Level 1.
Okay, okay. So, how do you think the adventure would be?
So, I mean, that's the thing, right? Starting an adventure is always one of the hardest parts because you either phone it in or you do a lot of work.
um, should I tell them about my 3x3 idea?
I mean, we can discuss multiple ideas for how we started off, right?
Okay. I think the easy. Okay, so if we are talking about phoning in, um,
You're in a tavern, someone says something, have fun.
pretty much. In those in no, you can phone it in even more than that. I can believe that. Um, you can literally say, "Hey, you've all accepted this job already. What do you
Ah,
do to
yep.
complete it?" You don't even give them the option of role playing through accepting the job. You just say, "Oh yeah, in your backstory, you've already accepted it. You're all already a party, and you've met, already agreed. What do you do?"
We played a campaign which that was the case, did we not?
Did.
Yeah. Yeah, that was official D&D content where it just starts with you all already accepted a job. I mean, it's not a bad thing to do though, because it at least gets everyone onto the same page to begin with.
I mean, I think
But I feel like that one the call to adventure was less of we are going to a location. It's more of when something happens to disrupt.
So it could be like, all right, your quest is to um take this merchant caravan and take it to this city safely. All right, and then something happens and someone explodes in crystal and a dragon suddenly. That's the big call to adventure. That
Yeah, because like if it's like if you are already starting on a quest, I feel like the call to adventure for that is when that quest goes wrong.
awry.
Yeah, I'm thinking about um like the Rise of Tiamat, Horde of the Dragon Queen,
I'm not.
where it's the call to adventure is pretty simple. It's everyone's on a caravan heading towards a town.
Uh-huh.
It's not a adventure caravan. It's just a bunch of people who've all hopped onto the same caravan heading towards a small town. You can head in that way for your own reasons. It could be just it's a stop along the way, and so there's no like actual like adventure purpose. It's just we're in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that doesn't feel right for something like this, right?
You're right.
This feels like a reward offered, like massive reward. I mean, though, considering that we've played around with the idea that it could be diluted to increase longevity.
Good. And this is gonna get a bit more mystical, like, and then more folklore. What if we
Mm-hmm.
had like a guardian of the Holy Grail? All the players like get a message from an angel essentially, and then the final like test slash fight might be against like an angel of thought. There's like millions of different kind of angels in D&D, so I'm sure we can find one of the appropriate level that pose a challenge as a fight slash test. Holy Grail.
Like at level 8, a Deva would be a fine final fight, potentially.
So I'd like to
As
imagine.
a, yeah.
So I'd like to think maybe and then this is what's the word? Shoehorny, contrived. Yeah. Um, I know it's contrived, and I'm going to put it here. I know it's contrived. Start the campaign with a high level. Is that how you spell Deva?
Yeah.
Deva uh, tells players of how constructed under the guise of prophet. Telling
I like that, where it's like, you know,
so to the players, they wouldn't. So that I think that could be the twist. Like the players wouldn't know it's a Deva telling them about it, and the Deva's real. Like Deva is testing. So it's the Deva's just trying to test people worthy of it, but they're making it so that the players believe that it's prophecy. They've just seen the future.
yeah, just like each character individually as part of their like backstory or whatever, basically each see this individual who tells them that you want to venture to here. Others will be there to assist. And so, in a way, it almost makes it seem like to each person, they are the special one guided towards this elixir of immortality. When, in actuality, each member of the party has been approached and told that they are the special one and that allies will assist. And each person can thus decide, like, what is their reason for the elixir of immortality? Is it out of pure selfishness? Is it to help their family? Maybe someone's like, the king of the country is a wise man. he should be allowed to live longer and rule this country for longer.
I was about to say that the GM will tell them all that's like, oh, keep it secret, but I feel, hang on, if they're gathering up as a group anyways, actually, unless they, okay, wait, no, I have another one. Okay, so they still gonna players, GMs, lead, chosen ones,
Now,
everyone.
because we're dealing with a chosen one thing, you should always be careful to avoid creating an actual chosen one in your campaign.
There's not going to be an actual chosen one. There's going to be plenty of people who believe they are. But I am going to give them a cover story. Everyone will have found or received a job offer from an alchemist once struck elixir purely for that purpose.
Yeah, that's good.
What's the other word? Academic, and like they want like the famous word for it.
Achievement.
Not the word I'm looking for. Like on the same level of reputation, glory. There's a word for this. Oh,
There is a word for it, though I'm struggling to think of it off the top of my head.
three synonym. The renown, prestige.
Renown, prestige. That's a good one. Academic prestige.
Academic. Oh, okay. Yep. So we don't need purposes. Academic prestige.
Yeah,
That flows a lot better. So
and that helps too if the party decide they don't want to end up giving it to the alchemist in the end when it's made.
he's just
If
happy.
they,
Just happy to say, "Hey, I made it. It's possible. Here are my notes on it. I'm awesome. Sure, you guys can have the potion as the reward for gathering all the."
So yeah, no, this is good. So job offering, everyone has dreams. We've got a number of like two, I guess technically it's not like a huge number, but we got two vital NPCs that we can really delve into that will be important.
Like at the start of the game, I think we'll just say, "Hey," like after we tell them, like, "Oh, you have a prophetic dream. You are the chosen one. Don't tell anyone, guys." And then when session one starts, we go, "All right, guys, you've all received a pamphlet or found a poster that this alchemist guy has been putting out," and we tell that. So mention two NPC.
I mean, well, first off, we have the alchemist.
Yeah. Okay.
He is going to be important because he's probably going to be the one to point people in general directions. He's going to be the one who has technically the recipe.
I think the fact that he is a literal alchemist is going to be you because he can be a source.
He can give out like
potion.
healing potions to help.
Give / trade potions, and then his side quests will literally be, if you get me this iron bark, I can make potions of iron bark and whatnot. Keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, you can use him to do like alchemy-based side quests, which could be helpful. Like, for example, if the party manages to defeat a giant, like a hill giant.
Oh, yep, hill giant strength.
Yeah, hill giant strength potion that the party can use later, and it's like that's a really cool reward. Like hill giants are tough, but not like too tough. But the reward for going out of their way and actually managing to defeat one.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, he's definitely like alchemy as NPCs, always narratively, like mechanically, always useful.
Yeah.
All right. What are we? Let's actually make this guy. What are you? Let's go into roll 20.
Okay.
And, can only one of us see the character at the same time?
We could both be in the sheet. It will.
I have to actually make him. don't I?
Yeah, you'll want to make like a character sheet.
Edit by players. I just hit character sheet.
So I see two characters at the moment:
Okay, for
Clono Joe Abris
some
and
reason it's
Zob.
not popping up properly, but I've got Zoberry Brain Neep.
Yep.
All right, so that's Glonage. Okay, it was just lagging a bit. So
Okay, so we got two.
all right,
Um,
I'm gonna ignore Glonajo. He could be the other MP.
yeah.
What are we actually calling this though? Recruit.
Well, I guess first things first, we should start to think like, what kind of visions do we have for this NPC? Because I'm getting a lot of like scholarly kind of individual.
He's gonna be like I said, in it for the academics alone.
Yeah.
He's
When I
possibly
when,
wealthy.
when yeah, I'm thinking like maybe an elf, maybe a human, maybe a gnome.
I do like the idea of a gnome.
Gnomes are fun. They can have really fun names. And like gnomish inventors is a very big kind of
It's a stereotype for
yeah. But like gnomish creativity is one of their big things. And so maybe, just maybe, it's not that he's found this recipe, it's that he's created this recipe. But those who've had the prophecy know that it is real.
So it could be a bit of divine inspiration, whatnot. We don't have
Yeah.
to make it too explicit on like
No. You don't have to
why.
tell everything, but
My eyes and my roll 20 acting up quite a bit.
mine
Yeah,
seems to be working fine at the moment.
probably on my end by looks of things. Very annoying.
Yep.
Loading, randomizing dice rolls.
It is possible just, recording everything is slowing your computer down a bit.
That could be.
Yeah. But yeah, we have
Gnome,
yeah.
Wizard or Artificer? Actually, yeah, I haven't played Artificer. Are they? I know they can be like firepower and magic items.
Well,
Potions?
Artificer literally has a subclass that is Alchemist.
Okay. In that case, that subclassed alchemy. Anyways, what do we want to name this?
So gnomish names are often really fun because gnomes can have like 40 names.
I do want to give something very memorable and easy.
Well, that's the thing. The idea that a lot of gnomes that I have run, what I like to do is that they'll have a lot of names, and then just be like, just call me like one. That's pretty common. So, like, he could be called, Alphonse, Aldan, Dorgost, Cobblefinger, the 22nd. But just call me, like, Alfast.
Or Owl. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like he has a lot of names, and then it's like he'll just be like, for simplicity's sake, because I know that you guys struggle with it, just call me something short.
Owl in bracket.
Yeah.
And figure out his longer name later. Obviously he can't have much strength, so we'll say 8, dexterity fine, constitution fine, intelligence has to be 20.
Yeah, he's got, I'd say still a little bit of wisdom.
Like maybe 12 wisdom?
Let's go 13.
13. And charisma.
He's charismatic enough to hire people.
I mean, that could just be himself, honestly.
I mean, yeah. Well, let's think about it this way. In terms of a score, how do we view him as a individual? Do you reckon he's like a pretty like by the books, just does study, just hires people like, hey, could you do this for me? Or do you think he's more personable?
I think he's more personal. Okay, maybe like 14. Like he doesn't
Yeah,
train at it. Like it's not
no,
something he practices. It's just something that comes naturally. So maybe
yeah,
he wouldn't have like the actual skill, persuasion and stuff
no.
invested, but
But he's at least like passively friendly enough and likable enough.
that he can get along with anyone. Uh, not like
Hostile
yeah, actively
immediately.
hostile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I like that idea. Oh, um, we don't necessarily need all this. This can all come like that.
Yeah,
Uh, and obviously have alchemy. That's a no. I will put
yeah,
tools, be intelligent, efficient, intelligent. Yeah, good with it, and we'll just say he's level 4 perfs characters have proficient. I think.
it is at level 5 that you get
Oh,
proficiency bonus 3.
okay. I don't want him too high a level. Like,
I think 5 is still fine.
okay, 5. 5. You are correct. All right. So, personality traits. Um, Academic, personable, eccentric. I'd say
Yeah,
basically the Disney professor character who sent character on their
yeah.
world. Ideally, do it because
Nice and simple and to the point. I mean, the entire campaign's kicked off by him trying to make this thing, so it makes sense.
and like the diva could be doing this test because yeah, actually yeah. Hang on, diva. Uh, that the alchemist going make alchemist wants make free
Yeah. Uh,
testing of it. I mean, based on that, actually, based on that sentence, if there is a chosen one, technically it's the alchemist.
yeah, technically, it's not the party; it is the alchemist.
Yeah, he's the chosen one. We're all just the test guinea pigs almost.
We are the ingredient gatherers and the guinea pigs.
That's kind of weird to think of it that way. Like, yeah, so the alchemist is the guy who kicks up this whole thing, and then Diva is just like, hang on, someone wants to do something to the Holy Grail I'm protecting.
Hmm.
All right, let's see who's gonna worthy. All right, so flaws overly trusting, maybe. I think those are two of cons. Let's say he gets along with a bunch of students.
Yeah, just like we described him as like just like naturally like friendly.
And
Saying,
uh, patience as well. So maybe he makes health potions for like random people as well.
mm-hmm.
So he helps his community. He's wealthy enough to afford it.
I could see him making potions, and like the money from all the potion making is what helps fund the adventure.
I can also see him like dilute making weaker health potions because like
Yeah,
health potion stops bleeding out. Like
yeah,
mechanically speaking, for a lot of like bleeding out mechanics, like Altrop specifically say like, oh yeah, if you bleed out, fix by getting healed.
mm-hmm.
So like even like from a what do you call from a economic No, that's not quite.
Mechanical standpoint as well.
Not even mechanical. I'll go mechanical. Yes, the ability to save someone from bleeding out by drinking something
Yeah,
is just really useful in real.
yeah.
Considering how many people
It's
die from bleeding out.
yeah. It effectively like closes up the wounds immediately and starts trying to fix the damage.
Like even if
It
you
might not be enough to actually like properly get you back to full, but maybe enough to stabilize you and prevent you from dying.
exactly, yeah, no, his potions at the very least stabilize. He does a lot for the community, like the medical community.
Yeah.
I thought, 100%. So that's Al. We can work on his mechanical bits a bit later, but that's Al.
Yeah.
Um,
Like mechanically, he shouldn't matter too much for his like actual stats
we
because
we can just hand wave a lot of stuff. Like
yeah,
if a player goes, "Hey, what level is this guy that he can make?" I don't know, flying potion of like dragon fire, and we can just say, doesn't matter. He just talking.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I think a part of it, yeah, we just have to let the players know that we are kind of hand waving it a bit, so we don't have other players becoming alchemists. Because if he's a level 4 alchemist, we can do all this stuff and make an elixir of immortality. Technically speaking, there wouldn't be any reason to stop the players from doing the same because this
well,
adventure takes them from level 1 to level 8.
yes, but the downside is that they require pretty crazy ingredients and a holy artifact. So it's like not everyone's going to be able to replicate that.
Right?
And I mean, depending on whether or not to continue the adventure past this point,
I think we actually have a good mix of like different powers and stuff like that. Because you have a divine artifact, you have a
yeah,
dragon which is arcane, Phoenix which also arcane.
yeah, I more view it as like elemental because phoenixes are
Elemental, yeah.
primordials. Yeah,
5-leaf clover, that's more nature.
nature. I tried to keep them all different to keep that nice and good.
I like that. That's very nice thematically. So, what's the second and was this
The Deva.
the Deva, and what would their name?
Oh,
What do
hmm.
Devas call themselves? Maybe the lights. They have like really thematic names like Light's Purpose.
They're angels, and they're mainly treated as just angels in fifth edition. But as someone who used to love fourth edition, Devas were a playable race back then.
Oh, not
So
Asmers? Asmers?
not Asimar, Deva. Devas themselves were actually playable, a playable race back in fourth edition D&D.
What level do
And
we want
so,
to make this guy? Like 12? Gonna be
well, the Deva as of fifth edition is a type of angel.
okay.
Um, but what I'm saying is that because it was a playable race back in the day, I can go and see if they have like suggestions for names
Oh,
for Deva,
okay. Yeah, that'll be cool.
and I can see if they've got anything that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Deva, no, glass. Deva. They have, well, at least by like fourth edition, all of their names are pretty simple. Things like Adaya or Bavak, Aranar, Hania, Mahel. A lot of like two-syllable names. Tira, Vered, Tavar.
Very throaty.
Yeah.
How about Rahir?
Grahir. Ooh, that has a little bit of like that, like gravitas to it that I like. Grahir. That that does sound like the name of someone who would be a protector too.
here, I'm also doing a pseudopon upon, like, if you swap here and Gra, it's Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Like my naming sense. Can't think of anything, folks. Make it a pun somehow, or wordplay. Even if it's as like outlandish as the way I did it. Right here, Holy Grail. Good starting off point. I think people underestimate how creativity works, but it's easier to modify something than to start from scratch. And I think people underestimate that. And I'm going to point to fan fiction as the reason I believe this, because there are millions and millions of fan fiction on original works, and there's not as many original compared to fan fiction. So, what I think, if you have trouble of like making something up, do something really basic and dumb, and then modify the hell out of it and that dumb.
And if it is dumb, it doesn't matter if the players don't notice.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. You're not you're not writing a book. You are making a game for your players, or your players to enjoy with you. I've got to stress that you're not making the game for the players specifically, making a game that so you all enjoy. I think the player. This goes back to our original talk about players and whatnot, and being a player. If you are not enjoying the game, the players are gonna see that, and it's gonna bring the vibe down. But yourself are enjoying running things. Happiness is infectious. Happiness. All right. So Grahir. So he.
Yeah.
Diva. So what do we want to talk?
So Grahir is a protector, but he's also the one that gives out the prophecy.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in a way, he can be kind of the not only like the prophecy giver. He feels like someone that could be good for a if the party fails to find any proper clues in some way, shape, or form. Grahir can like appear in a dream and give vague directions.
Oh, you're literally. He's the guy who literally shows the rails. So he's not. This
Yeah.
isn't a rail. I mean, it is kind of a railroady game. One like say, but
He exists if you need to get players back onto the rails.
yes, okay.
The players can take turns left and right. They can go off the rails. But if you need to get them back onto the rails, he can make a good way to do that with like guidance in the dreamscape. Which can be really useful because sometimes players are incredibly smart and sometimes they're incredibly unobservant.
Infuriating.
And so it is always nice to have a backup way for players to learn something if for some reason they don't realize it.
As someone who has been both a player and a game master, it's painful either way. My God, oh God. Okay, Diva. I mean, this Diva, this Grahir, my favorite character because to all my players, I mean, to all my viewers, sorry, I ran an D&D game a while back where one of the players had the ability to see the future somewhat. Was a chronomancer of sorts. Sai, were you part of that camp? I believe you.
If you're talking about, was that the one where I played Urug the Orc?
I believe so. But yes, we had a
Because I do remember beating a fellow and stealing his clock
yes,
handle.
yes, that's him. That's the one. So
Yes.
one of the players was playing a chronomancer, and he had an evil rival who wanted to make him, time out of existence and all that stuff. But he could see the future, so he would literally put himself onto the rails happily and it just made running the game so much smoother and so much easier because it was like his entire mechanics is like, what do my time sensors tell me about this situation? And he'd just go with the flow. It was kind of ridiculous how easy it was. It was like GMing on Super Baby Easy mode. So this kind of gives me similar feeling, but like
Yeah.
it's I'll never get that same feeling I had with that Chronomancer player because
Hmm.
it was initiated by the player himself. Like
But yeah.
constantly. It's less, hey guys, you should go back on this thing and me nudging them. It's more, hey, where am I supposed to go? Here's a mechanical way I can find out every time. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And like Grahir can be used as like the quote unquote DNPC to help out in situations. If there is a angel literally watching over for the purposes of this test, him guiding the players back onto the path is useful. Maybe in the case of a party wipe, he could be used to assist in some way to help the players escape. A blinding white light flashes in, blind the enemies and giving you time to escape. Um, and I mean, like,
I think like that might go a bit too far. Like I don't want him.
yes, we are presenting options. We are brainstorming, right? Yeah, but I like the idea of him as just the guide that can get you back on rails. I think that's just good.
I think we can lean a bit more testing it. Guy
Yeah,
who can go. So he's trying to test people to see the and like I said, it's supposed to be a black and white game. I think that's one of the things you got to communicate to the players at the beginning. Like session zero, let your players know this.
yeah.
So I hope there's going to be inter-party conflicts, like arguments and stuff, like how they go about stuff. But this adventure very easily would just have everyone get along.
Have a good adventure environment, or
At least until the end when they go,
yeah,
hang on, who's actually the chosen one? Hang on, I should get
yeah,
this elixir more than you, and
yeah,
so on and so
yeah.
forth.
If inter-party conflict happens, the best place for it would be the finale. But you want them all to get along until that point, at least.
I can imagine like, oh, actually, you know what? I think like a good plot twist gives them fake, uh, gives them a fake one, a fake Holy Grail as a test, and see what they do. Like, because I imagine like after adventure, after 8 levels, they sort of cover a bit.
Yeah,
So maybe eventually one of them will say, "Yeah, I plan to give the potion to my dying sister," and everybody else will be like, "I hate it, but I think this guy deserves it more than I do," and they all unanimously like say, "Yep, you take the Holy Grail." Then that passes the test.
yeah.
They'll be like the little secret tests of characters and stuff like
And I mean, someone could even be like, "Why do I need the immortality elixir now? If I could take the goblet for myself now, I can regather the ingredients later. The goblet's the important thing that matters, right?
that
And
because it's
potentially steal that.
only you out of it.
Yeah, and that's why it makes a lot of sense for the Holy Grail to be like the big portion of the test.
Mechanically speaking, want to actually build the Holy Grail does like,
I don't like. We could
like
start it up as like a proper artifact,
like we don't
but
have
not now. Not
okay
now.
do that for a later time.
Yeah, because that could be fun to do. Like, give it some actual benefits. Because it's possible, like, if the finale has like us return to the alchemist and he is under duress, there's a brief bit of time where the party will have this holy artifact in their hands, and that could be helpful for them coming out on top against whatever their opponent may be.
And stat it. All right, all right.
Yeah. So we described what our little Deva friend does, what Grohir does, but do we want to go into any sort of like theming, or I guess like outfit? Like, do you see Grohir as like a Deva with a single sword, majestic, or like maybe like a Deva with like a book in one hand and a scale in another?
Oh, that's an.
Or
Um,
like those are like suggestions, but like, do we present them more as like? Because I kind of like the idea of a book in one hand to like
more of a
judge.
spellcaster type one.
Well, I mean, whether or not he's a spellcaster or not, I just like the idea of like something in one of his hands to represent, once you know him, as like a judge. I think the scales is a bit too on the nose.
Maybe a warhammer mallet.
Okay.
I would actually give him like a weapon, fight with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say like, make him a cleric. He would have scales, or even just scale symbol. Have a giant mallet as a hammer.
Yeah. Because like having that little bit of like, what does he appear like in his angelic self? Is always something cool because like that scene where you get to properly describe him. Because I imagine in the visions in the dreams, he might seem like a silhouette blanketed by light. You're always going to want that moment where you finally get to describe the angel. And like,
What is like big outline of a hammer and stuff like that.
yeah.
And like people want symbology and like roll religion check. They can sort of like, oh, that hammer looks like the same kind of hammer that this god uses or whatever.
Hmm.
Um,
It's more like a gavel.
gavel, exactly. Yeah, look more like a gavel.
Yeah, that a judge would use.
Exactly. Treasure more of judge big gavel. That judge. The judge for a. Well, how big are divas? I'm assuming they're just me.
Ooh. I mean, traditionally, I think a deva is just like regular size. They're an angel, so I imagine their size could technically fluctuate, but I believe they are just medium in size.
Either way, we
Like,
had Brahir. Like,
I mean,
oh, if there could be. Now that I think about it, having him just do this as a test might not make sense per se. To begin with, because if he thought like, oh, he's gonna make the potion, I can just judge who's good and not use all these other tests without actually gather the ingredients for him. Instead, I'd like to think that he's getting them to gather the ingredients because there are other forces at play that just want the grail outside of the purposes of the.
and the adventure, in a way, also helps make the party stronger.
Yep. He's essentially trying to call for reinforcements in such a way they'll and come to his. Yeah.
And likewise, if they prove themselves worthy, then their reward potentially is the elixir of immortality that they have proven their worth of. It's layered.
Yeah, give out.
You do not have to present the layers forthright, but having like a character's motivations be layered is always a really good way to tell a story.
About horsemen other trying rail. But I like
Now, that is a kickstart point to be like, okay, there are other forces out to get the Grail.
you read my mind. Like, who are these forces? And I could imagine
Yeah.
like the final big battle be like, oh, this big bad like encampment bastion fort thingy around
Mm-hmm.
the rail. It's essentially mechanically a dungeon that you guys got to get through, get to the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
And then like the things they fight through are all like really evil, nasty things, people, and yeah,
Because, like, forces that want the Grail, you can have, like, evildoers. You can also have, technically, people who mean good, but in, like, kind of, like, not so great ways. Like, imagine someone who is Indiana Jonesing this stuff. He wants to collect the Holy Grail and then maybe give it to a noble as part of his collection.
sure,
Not evil,
yourself,
but the angel would, yeah, the angel would definitely be like, okay, no, I can't let you have it.
not for that reason.
Yeah. But likewise, I could also imagine some sort of evil, like, evil entity that wants this Holy Grail, whether he wants to corrupt it or he seeks its powers for himself
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
or herself. Evil can be female too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Evil is non-gendered. It's equal opportunity evil.
Yep.
Which is weird because like being racist, sexist. Oh,
I equal opportunity evil. Is there something we could pull from that as like a little fun thing?
like
Equal
touring evil boss. Maybe they're trying to get all the other ingredients for different reasons. Like, all right, to breach these events, get the diva. We need a lot of luck, so let's go 5 leaf clovers. Um, Feather is going to be a powerful animal thing, and of course we have this dragon who agreed to help us, and we're going to ride him into battle. Why is our dragon ally dead now?
like I have a lot of things. When I think of angels, I do think of like flaming weapons. And so I can imagine like the phoenix feather as a talisman to protect against fire, a white dragon to battle against the flaming angel in the sky.
And the
Like,
players accidentally keep foiling like
yeah,
the bad guys plan to assault this Deva and the Holy Grail fortress
yeah,
by accident. Every turn is like, oh, damn it, who are these adventurers? Keep spoiling it. They're coming for our main base now. And then the adventurers turn up. It's like, hey, we're here for the Holy Grail. I know it. You're here to take the Holy Grail. Who are you guys?
mm.
Spoiling us at every turn. What do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. That could be fun because like when I think of something like that, I think of like the bumbling like Team Rocket group, or to go back to that Dragon Ball analogy you made at the start, like Emperor Pilaf and his gang.
I haven't seen the original Dragon Ball. I know the character's name. I do reckon that. Oh, but
Yeah.
Ribbon Army and all that stuff.
Mm.
Mostly from Osmo
Yeah.
view. Uh,
Um, Emperor Pilaf, he's a small little evil dude with his two companions, Mai, and I think the other one is Shu. Mai is just like,
isn't she the one who like stands up date drunk or something?
yeah, with all the time shenanigans that occur.
Vaguely.
Yeah, but the idea is that they were basically just like, the evil emperor or evil dude. He's small, he's weak, but he uses, his money and various stuff to like get robots built so that he might fight against Goku. And they are very much like the Team Rocket style antagonists, constantly there, but it's obvious they are outclassed like basically all the time.
That feels like it never goes. Every time that sentence happens, it's like, and it doesn't end well for them. Specifically, they fight Goku. Never ends
I
well
mean,
for them.
no, but the thing is, like with original Dragon Ball, if it was not for Oolong saving the day, Emperor Pilaf would have won and gotten his wish.
So long as them.
Yeah, you've probably heard the Oolong wished for Bulma's panties
Oh
joke.
yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah, he makes that wish off the top of his head to the dragon to stop Emperor Pilaf from getting his wish first.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Um. So that's one of those cases where it's like, yeah, one of the little gag characters basically played a vital role in stopping the bad guys from winning in that scenario. But like, that's the thing, right? It's like in this kind of adventure, if I think of someone trying to defeat a Deva, I don't necessarily think like little gag like villains is kind of enough, right? I feel like if we have got a Deva, we might want to deal with like a demon in turn.
That makes sense. Thematically speaking, uh, bad guy, devil.
Yeah, both demons and devils could work. Demons more chaotic, devils more like lawful.
I've, if I had to, one, I'm biased and I would devil all the time because even like in terms of like fightiness, they can give as good as fight as demon, vice versa. But unlike the devil, will try to gonna try and screw you over, but they're gonna do it by talking first.
There are intelligent demons to counteract, but yes, typically the devil will play smarter, more cautious. And this does feel like a putting plans in place to fight the Diva, to steal the artifact. Demons are usually a bit more forthright and just go in there, do your stuff.
I think I think devil is what we for in that case. Just the idea that they're willing to make plans.
Yeah.
David, and I'm gonna include here was discussed before about the five leaf clovers and whatnot.
Yeah, because like all that joking, I actually really like the idea of sticking the five leaf clover to get luck to assist, like going to get the white dragon so that the help fight the Deva, getting the resistance to fire from the Phoenix. Typically, devils are automatically resistance to fire, but I could see you say like, and the Phoenix feather tips it over from just straight resistance to being immune to fire in like totality.
That is a rule.
Yeah.
I wish, officially speaking, like in D&D, like if you have two forms of resistance, they just cancel each other out, and you get to keep one, right?
Yeah, you just keep the effect that gives you the most.
Yeah, I hate that, and I wish that it could be like combined and like I know why it makes sense for AC and other buffs, but for like resistance, like stuff like that, and vulnerability, I've always liked the idea that stack. You know? Like I love it. So yes, this fire slash or you have like a something closer by any chance?
As an item?
Yeah, as an item.
Ooh.
I just had that thought.
Uh,
Artifact. I'm going.
I,
I'm
I have not seen anything that seems to uh check out to that.
let's see. Book of Vile Darkness.
Yeah, no. If I look up feather, it's a lot of like feather tokens.
Oh, I freaking
Yeah,
love feather tokens.
yeah. No, it's nothing that seems to be along the lines of an actual phoenix feather as an item.
Oh, hey, the Wand of Orcus is in. Why am I surprised? Of course, the Wand of Orcus would.
Yeah.
That was a bit of car going off in the distance. Let's see, is there any magical items that called
No, not that I could find.
nothing even called Phoenix anything or fire thing? I assume there would be something of fire.
Oh, there's plenty of like fire stuff.
It's just wonder fireball. Yeah, okay, that would be difficult
Yeah.
to pass.
There's like armor of fire resistance. There's like rings of fire resistance.
So we could mechanically just say, there is the phoenix feather, if used in a certain way, can fire.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll just say, oh yes, okay, to make this more canon, I'm just going to go over to Adventure Crashed on me. That or I click over to character sheet, say, does fire attack? As in, does fire attack? Say his hammer on fire. Also, hammer.
Yeah. I believe the typical Deva technically does radiant damage, like as most of his damage source, but the flaming angel is always such a cool image, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Didn't twist up. If anybody goes, hey, that's not canon D setting, say it's our homebrew.
Also, I mean, he's a special named Deva. He gets special named privileges.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, fire damage. Speed just 12 seems.
I'll let you know the regular Deva's hits. The bonus damage is 4d8.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Though he uses just a mace, so the little 1d6er, but then 48 bonus radiant damage.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to go the full amount. We're adjusting, right? He's a special Deva. He gets special stat blocks.
Okay. You know what? You're right. We don't need.
Copy exactly. And when we're planning out like encounters, we can like look at stuff and see if it feels too large or too dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Okay. We're not. We're still in the brain as a.
Yeah.
We're not mechanical bits quite yet. What kind of devil are we looking at that would be a match for a Deva or even be able to beat?
Ooh. Okay. So if we're thinking like devils of like
Maybe even like half a rank down from a Deva. Why they're so cautious of fighting this?
Oh, maybe we're looking at something like maybe like a bone devil.
And they're pretty scary to fight.
They're pretty scary. Or if it's about planning to take one down, at the same rough like tier of power, there is the Orthon, if you know what those are.
That sounds familiar.
The Orthons are like the devils that like track down, and like they're like hunters. They value the challenge of the chase and the thrill of one-on-one combat above all else. So that feels like of equal power to the Deva.
Yeah,
Then maybe
this is a name Deva, so we can make this Orthon specific character a bit weaker, maybe.
or just make our precious Deva slightly stronger.
Yeah,
like Bone Devil slightly weaker. Also, there is like the Chain Devil.
so like what are their roles in Hell? So Orthon you mentioned is like a hunter.
Yeah, they're a hunter. They often get hired out to be like, "Hey, I need you to go deal with this thing."
Okay, I can see.
They're like bounty hunters at times.
Do they get hired to retrieve items as well?
I mean, they're a bounty hunter. I can imagine So
Okay, so I can imagine him trying to get the Holy Grail, or
yeah.
like if we want to make this high stakes, or
Hmm.
like we can just say, oh yeah, this guy's been hired to get it for Orcus or some other big scary D&D god demon pantheon type person,
Hmm.
and then like we don't ever actually have to see the big overall
No.
big evil guy. It's just we just know that this guy's working for.
Yeah. Um. So you asked about the other devils. Bone devils.
Oh, Orthons. Yes, no, I know what exactly they look like. I know exactly why they sound so
What
familiar now.
one's in Baldur's Gate 3? If that's
Exactly. I was just
yeah.
thinking, it's like, how did I miss that? Yep, yep, yep. I know exactly. Yep. All right, all right, all right. That's perfect. In my mind now. But yes, please tell me about the others, just in case they're more
Yeah.
perfect.
So bone devils are like taskmasters. It deliberately notes that they like set weaker devils to work, and so like um basically because of their roles like taskmaster, this feels like a good like, hey, I want you to do this, and you have these many like weaker devils that you can put to the task, so we can feed like protecting the clover. We can be attacked by a couple of imps and spine devils, for example, because the bone devil can command lesser devils to do stuff. So the bone devil feels more like a good like commander
What
of other devils.
what challenge rating are these guys?
So the Orthon, traditional basic Orthon, is challenge rating 10.
Oh, geez.
Now, as a level 8 party, a challenge rating 10 foe is a tough fight, but not impossible.
Okay.
It's reasonable for him to be a boss for like a level 8 campaign.
Uh huh.
The Bone Devil, challenge rating 9, so a little bit weaker. So a little bit more simple. And then the Chain Devil is challenge rating 8. Now, there are a couple of other types of devils, because some of the Abishai are in this tier of power as well.
How would you feel about the idea of instead of being a singular bad guy, but instead a council of bad guys, and they're all trying to take down the diva and gain their master's approval while backstabbing each other? Like they are not with each other at all, but they kind of work together.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so I can
I have
imagine.
no reason to refuse that.
Yeah, so what's the Chain Devil's deal?
Okay, so Chain Devil, um, I mean they're like jailers.
Uh huh.
Like they're jailers. They're technically torturers as well.
Uh huh.
Um, their basic thing is like, if you want to keep someone locked up forever,
Uh huh.
you get a chain devil to do it, because they can like capture, because like their entire gimmick is like the chains, right?
Yeah.
They can basically control chains to like grapple things and restrain them and like drag them away into the darkness. So that's kind of a cool, like chain devils look really cool because of like all the chains floating about.
Oh, this makes it super easy. So the Chain Devil is obviously the weakest, but he's also the lowest on the totem pole. Lowest on the totem pole because originally he was brought in to like sort of like capture the diva and stuff like that, but he can't do that yet because they haven't beaten the diva. So he's literally doing nothing. So he's pissed off. He's essentially muscle, but he's not. He's muscle doing not as much.
Yeah,
And then next up, the Bone Devil is the one providing fighting numbers, and the reason they can get they can focus on so many different plans. So he's like he's the one butting heads with the Orthon. And it's like, oh, you're not that important. Without me, the whole operation will fall apart. And the Orthon is the most powerful of the lot, like physically speaking.
Yeah.
But he's also the reason why they found the Diva in the first place. Track down Diva and is physically the most powerful. So the Orthon is, by rank alone, is the most powerful on the field at the moment, and the other two are
Hmm.
technically under him. But it's clear to the Orthon that the Bone Devil is trying to like move up the corporate ladder and such like that.
Which is a very Bone Devil thing to do, from
Very,
my understanding of them.
it's a very devil thing to do. And the Chain Devil is just frustrated with the situation because he wants to be useful, but he can't.
Yeah.
So, like, I can imagine him trying to help the party in some ways. Is like, hey, if you can throw mud on these two and make me look better in comparison, yeah, that'll be fantastic. Or get those two infighting. I'm good with that. And then later on, like, the Chain Devil will fight the players by himself, or the other two are bickering or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think, like, despite being the challenge ratings they are, they could, in theory, be fought even earlier because
Like
the player
a,
that
a,
they.
a CR8 creature could be fought at like level 5 by himself and be like a dangerous boss fight. That's really cool.
Mm-mm. But I think with the other two, like, if you have an alchemist who gives you lots of buffs and lifts of potions, and you
Yeah.
can figure out the weaknesses of these guys, like, they could, in theory, beat them at like much earlier levels and whatnot.
Yeah, I could see like the Chain Devil being beaten at like level 5. The Bone Devil maybe like a level 7, and then the Orthon being the true final boss.
Mm-mm. There's a really funny saying that I really like. I'm gonna butcher the saying, but Superman is CR20 until you give him kryptonite.
Yep.
So that's how I kind of like see these guys as well. They're CR like 8, 9, and 10s, but and I know challenge rating in the DMG like dungeon D&D is like wildly all over the place, like
It's
CR.
inconsistent at times.
Yeah. So it's like it's not something you should like focus on, but
Yeah. It's a good guide, but do not speak of it as gospel.
no, definitely not. Uh, right. I think that's enough for tonight. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, we've got like adventure plans. We have our major villains.
It's fantastic. We have the Deva Grahir, and we got a bunch of bad guys. There's three of them. Oh my god, this is gonna be fantastic. The fact that there's
Yeah.
three of them is perfect. We have the alchemist, Al.
We'll
Al,
give.
the alchemist.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized the pun. Al. Oh gosh. Even without meaning to, I pun.
Well, we can give him an actual like full gnomish name that's like got nothing to do with alchemist. But when he's just like, just call me Al. It's like Al the alchemist, huh? Okay.
Oh, I can imagine now. It's like Al the alchemist. Oh, I didn't realize the wordplay in that. Ha ha! I'm a genius without meaning to be.
Yeah, have fun with that type of stuff.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us for this episode of Recipe for Adventure. If you enjoyed it, please comment, like, and subscribe, all that usual stuff. And until next time, Si and I will say bye bye.
Ciao.